That's really what comes through. We're sick, deeply sick. I mean, to have a three, and of course, everybody's like, oh, the pandemic, the pandemic. The pandemic is barely half the story. I mean, the fact is that as John Abramson is going to discuss, you know, we had 3-year drop in 2019, not just in 2020. It's just even more from then on. And obesity, the obesity one is really bad because also the alcohol abuse is a big one, you know, with the rise in liver cirrhosis. But suicide is up too. So it's like all across the board, deaths of despair.
I mean, here's how I would look at it. Obviously, the pandemic is the primary driver of these massive changes over the past couple of years. But we also have to ask ourselves why we performed so much worse in keeping our people alive during the pandemic than other similarly situated nations. I mean, one of the obvious answers here is having a broken for-profit healthcare system. That's a big part of the reason why. And this is the other thing, like we take it for granted in this country that, yeah, rich people are just gonna live longer. That's not true in other places. In other places, there isn't this gap between the rich and the poor in just how long they live. And I think you have to look at the way our healthcare system is structured and the fact that it is structured around greed and profit rather than actual health as a big part of that story. That's also a big part of the driver of why so many people are chronically ill, because it's a lot easier and a lot more profitable for a lot more people to just give someone a pill rather than looking at these underlying conditions, which are, you know, much more difficult and, you know, don't have like a quick sort of like dollar figure attached to them. So what do you do? I mean, this is the thing that I always come back to. What's profitable in the healthcare system is chronic illness that you can treat over time, again and again and again. And so guess what? We get the thing that is profitable for drug companies and a lot of other people besides. So it is a sad statement. There's a lot that's deep that's going on there too, just about what has people feeling so down and hopeless and miserable that this is the course that their life ultimately takes.
You know, people should go take a look sometime at what we actually spend health money on. So it's chronic heart disease, diabetes, and end-of-life care. Those three are like 80% of the cost. 20% is everybody else. So you're like, hold on a second. So guess what would solve the diabetes, for example? Yeah, insulin's super expensive, and it's really nice and very profitable in order to give people insulin. Or don't get diabetes in the first place. Some people are gonna get diabetes. If you reduce obesity, diabetes is gonna go way, way down. And yet, there's currently an obesity drug on the market, which has shown dramatic results. Yeah, insurance company's not gonna cover that one, right? Because if you cover that and you treat it, well, then you're not gonna get all this money off diabetes.
Yeah.
It's the same thing on chronic heart disease. I mean, heart disease and obesity.
We subsidize horrific food choices. We make it impossible to get anywhere without getting in your car. We make it very difficult to lead healthy lives. Like there's a lot of layers there. But at bottom, and this is also part of why we had more of a vaccine hesitancy issue in this country than other countries too, is like people don't trust the healthcare system. Many Americans don't have any like trusted connection to the healthcare system. They're totally distant from it. So they don't have anyone that they really believe in who has the credentials to come to them and say, no, this is beneficial to you. It's gonna prevent severe illness and death. So even the fact that we have this large contingent of vaccine skeptical people comes back to like the broken nature of our healthcare system.
Absolutely.
Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.